What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. And today I got a spicy deck list for you guys. A deck that I use to reach infinite. And that's right, it's a Silver Surfer deck. Silver Surfer is back, baby. Well, he was never really gone. I feel like people just kind of dropped him after he got nerfed. And, I kind of dropped him as well. Even though I really enjoyed Silver Surfer, I think the old Silver Surfer was pretty dang strong, giving all your 3-cost cards plus 3 power. The new Silver Surfer is a lot more fair. He's still a good card, but he's a lot more fair now. He's not busted like Thanos or Shuri, right? So he's not quite in the same tier as those two decks, but he can beat those decks. That's right, Silver Surfer can beat Thanos and Shuri. Thanos is a little bit harder. Shuri, I'm not too concerned about. But yeah, let's go over this deck list that I used to hit infinite rank with. I started playing it around rank 90, 92-ish, so early 90s all the way to 100. This deck list took me there, and I'm sure it could take you there as well, as long as you snap and retreat accordingly, which I'm going to go over all the cards and how the deck works and when to snap and when to retreat and all that. So let's go ahead and get into the deck. So this right here is the deck list. I call it Surfing Cats and Dogs because we got Silver Surfer, we got a couple of cats with Goose and Zabu, and we got a couple dogs with Cosmo. I guess Wolfsbane counts as a dog, right? Maybe it's part wolf. I don't know the history of Wolfsbane. That's a whole nother topic. Let me know who Wolfsbane is in the comments if you know, because I'm not really familiar with the character. But anyways, this is a very solid Silver Surfer list, and I am going to break down each card here, and I'm going to tell you about the Thanos and Shuri matchups, and I'm going to show some gameplay as well. Hopefully I can get some good games against Thanos or Shuri decks, but let's go ahead and get into it, right? So first up in the deck list, we have Goose. Goose is a very key card in this deck list. This card is not replaceable. So Goose is a 2-cost, 2-power card. Ongoing, nobody can play cards that cost 4, 5, or 6 at this location. So in our deck list, we do run a couple of 4-cost cards and 1 5-cost card. Now, something to take note of is that we also run Zabu. Zabu is going to make our 4-cost cards cost 1 less. So essentially, they are going to be 3-cost cards. And that means that you can play them into the Goose lane. So really, it's just Sera that you can't really play into the Goose lane as long as you have Zabu on the board. But the reason Goose is such a key card in this deck is because it's really good against Shuri decks, because Shuri decks, they don't really care, to be honest, what they play turns 1 through 3. They could play like, I don't know, 0 and then like a lizard and then like Cosmo or armor or something like that, right? Like, it's nothing too crazy. It's really like it's turn 4 it's Shuri, then turn 5 it's Red Skull, and then turn 6 it's Taskmaster. And they are going to try and put either the 30-point Red Skull or the 30-point Taskmaster in a location behind their armor or behind their Cosmo. That way it cannot get killed by Shang-Chi, right? But if we place Goose in one of those locations where they have armor or they have Cosmo, that forces them to play that big unit in another location where it's more susceptible to the Shang-Chi. So I have beat Shuri decks many times with this deck. Honestly, I'm not even really scared of Shuri decks playing this anymore. Thanos is definitely the harder matchup of the two. And I'm not saying you're going to beat Shuri 100% of the time, because maybe sometimes you don't draw Goose. Maybe sometimes you don't draw Shang-Chi. Maybe sometimes you don't draw Zabu to discount the Shang-Chi. So I think Shuri decks are probably still favored, but it's not an unwinnable matchup by any means. It's probably like 60-40, 60% in favor of Shuri and 40% in your favor, where I think Thanos is a little bit more difficult, but I'll talk about that matchup a little bit later. But yeah, I think this deck can absolutely beat Shuri. You just got to be very smart where to place your Goose, and you got to really pay attention to who's revealing first, who's revealing second. You really want to try and reveal second. in some scenarios. That way you can try and snipe their Taskmaster or their Shang-Chi. I mean, their Taskmaster or the Red Skull, my bad. Or sometimes you might want to have priority going to that last turn if you think they're going to arrow you. That way you can Shang-Chi their big unit before you get hit by arrow. So really kind of depends on the situation. But yeah, Goose is very, very key for that reason. And Goose is also good against ramp decks because ramp decks like to play a lot of 5 and 6 cost cards. So that really limits where they can play those big cards in ramp decks as well. Next up, we have Zabu. So Zabu also got nerfed along with Silver Surfer. Zabu was insanely busted before. It used to make your 4 cost cards cost 2 less, and it was a 3 cost card. But now it's a 2/2. Your 4 cost cards cost 1 less. So again, a lot more fair card. It's still a good card. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this card is not dead by any means, but it's not busted either. It's just a good, fair card now. So with that being said, we have 3 4-cost cards in our deck. I already mentioned Shang-Chi, which is to really mainly counter shuri decks and any other greedy decks that like to play really tall units. Then we also have Wong. Wong is insanely good in this deck list because we have a lot of on reveal abilities, and the main on reveal ability of this deck is going to be Silver Surfer, of course. Silver Surfer is now a 3/2. He used to be a 3/0, and he's going to give your other 3 cost cards +2 power. It used to be +3 power, which was insanely strong. It seems like such a small difference, but it really made a huge difference. Again, this card is still a good card, not a bad card, not a busted card, but a fair card. So being able to activate your Silver Surfer twice with the Wong is just absolutely insane. And Wong also pairs very nicely with Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane is insane in this list. I would not recommend taking out Wolfsbane. I actually think Wolfsbane puts in a lot of work here. So Wolfsbane is a 3/1 on reveal +2 power for each other card you have here. So this is a card you usually want to play on the last turn of the game. That way you have 3 other cards as that location, and you can get the full value from Wolfsbane. It's going to get +6 for 3 other cards there for a total of 7 points, which is really, really good. And if you can activate that with Wong, activate it twice with Wong, it's going to get +12 if you have 3 other cards in that location. So it's going to be a 3 for 13, which is just absolutely insane. Wolfsbane is like low-key, like one of the MVPs of this deck. I would not take out Wolfsbane. It is so good. Such an underrated card. And then we also have Brood here. Brood is just essential in any Silver Surfer deck because it's going to spawn 2 Broodlings to this location with the same power. So the Broodlings are also 3 cost, which means they also get buffed up by Silver Surfer. So this is 3 cost bodies on the board. They're all 2 power, so it's essentially 3 for 6 without any buffs, but you buff them all by 2 with Silver Surfer, and then it becomes 3 for 12, which is really, really strong. And something I want to mention is our other 4-cost card here, Absorbing Man. Now you might be thinking, why the hell is Absorbing Man in this deck list? Well, he has a few different purposes. I actually really like him. I think he's a really flexible card in this deck list. I think he's not required, but I think he's really, really good in this deck list. If you have him, I would highly recommend throwing him in this deck and keeping him in this slot, and let me explain why. So he's a 4-cost card for 3 power. On reveal, if the last card you played has an on reveal ability, this card copies it. So there's a lot of different ways you can build a Silver Surfer deck, and what I did was I kind of went with a lot of on reveal cards, you know, with like Wolfsbane, Wong, Absorbing Man, Thor, things like that. So the thing with the Absorbing Man is he has multiple targets he can copy here. Now, one target I really like to copy is actually Brood. So Brood, when you read Brood's ability on reveal, add 2 Broodlings to this location with the same power. So if you use Absorbing Man to copy Brood, let's say you play Brood on turn 3, You play Absorbing Man on turn 4. Then Absorbing Man is going to spawn 2 Broodlings with his power. So he's going to spawn 2 Broodlings that are buffed up to 3. So that is essentially 3 cost bodies. Well, actually, no, sorry, my bad. Absorbing Man is a 4 cost body, so he doesn't get buffed by Surfer. But he spawns 2 3 cost bodies that are Broodlings, and they are 3 cost. So that is essentially 9 points for 4 energy, and those Broodlings get buffed by Surfer. It's such a good combo. I really love this combo. I think it's such a low key, like insanely good combo. Now, what else can we copy with Absorbing Man? Well, Silver Surfer is kind of the obvious one, right? Let's say you can do in the last turn, you can do some pretty nuts things. Like, let's say you have Zabu and Sera on the board. In the last turn, you can do Wong, Silver Surfer, and then copy that with Absorbing Man. It's a lot of points on the board. So yeah, Absorbing Man can copy Brood. He can copy Silver Surfer. You can copy Thor to shuffle a second Mjolnir into your deck, but I necessarily wouldn't recommend that. Maybe unless you have Sera and Silver Surfer in your hand already. But I don't really do that often. I'm usually copying Brood or Silver Surfer. Now the third option, actually, there's multiple options here, right? You can also copy Wolfsbane. Because Wolfsbane ability is really nice too. So remember, like I said, if you have 3 other cards at this location, this on reveal ability is basically going to be +6. So again, if you play Absorbing Man to copy the Wolfsbane, you have 3 other cards there. That's going to be +6. So again, that's 9 points for 4 energy, which is really good value. And now another one that you can copy, which is a little bit less common, but it can definitely catch your opponents by surprise, is you can copy Shang-Chi. If you have Sera and Zabu, and you can discount these cards, you can play, or really if you just have one or the other, right? You can play Absorbing Man because he will cost 3 if you have one of your Sera or your Zabu on the board. So Shang-Chi will also cost 3 if you have Sera or Zabu on the board. So I've actually done this before. It's pretty nasty. I've done it against this Shuri deck. Is like I predicted where they're gonna place the Red Skull and the Taskmaster. It's like, okay, they're revealing first. I know they have Red Skull in this lane, they have Taskmaster in this lane, or sometimes they might play like She-Hulk and Taskmaster, something like that. Just 2 big bodies on the board, right? And you are revealing second. You can do Shang-Chi in one location, copy that with the Absorbing Man in another location. Essentially have 2 Shang-Chis. Is pretty dirty. So I really love Absorbing Man in this list. And yeah, if you have him, I would throw him in here and keep him in this deck list. And of course, Silver Surfer is the main payoff and the finisher of this deck list. You pretty much always want to play him on the last turn of the game to get the max amount of points possible. And now we have Cosmo in here. Now you might be thinking, well, Cosmo is a little bit weird to have in here because he has anti-synergy with Wong and all our other on-reveal cards, right? The main reason I have Cosmo in here is to actually counter Galactus decks, because without Cosmo, this deck just loses to Galactus, unfortunately, because Silver Surfer decks like to go wide. They like to spread their points across the whole board, right? All 3 locations or 2 out of 3 locations. But Galactus wants to just put all its points in a single location, which is very bad for this deck list. So I was finding that I was losing to Galactus a lot with this deck list, and you still can lose to Galactus with this deck list if you don't counter them with the Cosmo. But I have found that Cosmo has come in clutch so many times. Usually you can easily predict where the Galactus player is going to put their Galactus, right? So yeah, Cosmo, that's why he's in the deck list, and he's also just a good counter for other on reveal abilities out there. So that's mainly why Cosmo is in this deck list. And next up, we have your boy Killmonger, and he is the MVP against Thanos decks. So let me use this opportunity to kind of talk about the Thanos matchup a little bit, because that is probably the hardest matchup. I would say the hardest matchups are Thanos, Galactus, Shuri, and Sandman. So Thanos, that matchup is really hard because not only is that deck just so strong, so flexible, can just put so many points on the board, and the stones just have so much utility to them, but the main killer in the Thanos deck for my Silver Surfer deck is Leech. If you get hit with Leech, you just got to retreat. Like, you got to get out of there. To be honest, there's just no winning that matchup if you get Leech. Now, sometimes maybe you can get lucky and maybe snipe that Leech with the Cosmo. Like, let's say maybe you see they put their Lockjaw in one location, you can put your Cosmo on that same location to try and prevent the Leech. So that could potentially work. But yeah, Leech is absolutely deadly for this deck. If you get Leech, it's game over, honestly. Like, you just got to retreat. But the good thing is, like, if you get leeched, like, it's easy to know when to snap and retreat when this deck list. So if you get leech, you're usually just gonna lose like 1 or 2 cubes. You should not be losing more than that if you get leech. So yeah, Leech is really, really bad for this deck. However, if you do not get hit with Leech, let's say maybe your opponent just didn't draw Leech, maybe they don't have Leech in their deck, or maybe you countered it with Cosmo or something like that, right? So I think you can actually win against the Thanos matchup, and I've done it. I've beat Thanos many times with this deck, as long as you don't get hit by a Leech. Again, gotta add that little small caveat there. But Killmonger just absolutely shreds the stones on the last turn of the game. Yeah, there's really not much they can do against the Killmonger. I don't think a lot of Thanos decks are running armor. They don't really run Cosmo either, and a lot of them like to buff them up with Blue Marvel. So yeah, Killmonger just absolutely shreds through the stones, just deletes their board. Killmonger's just also good against, Zoo decks, or could be good against Ultron Patriot, depending on who's revealing first. So yeah, Killmonger is also a really, really good deck, a really good card in this deck list, and really good against the Thanos matchup. Now, next up, we have my boy Thor. Now, Thor is probably the most flexible card in this deck list. I would say he is definitely optional. Me personally, I'm just a fan of Thor, like the character and the card in the game. I like the card. I like that he's a 3/4, and then I like that Mjolnir can make him a 3/10. And if you put him behind either Cosmo or Goose, he can't get hit by Shang-Chi if you buff him up with Mjolnir. You could potentially activate Mjolnir twice with your Wong, which could be really good. I guess you could potentially copy the Mjolnir with Absorbman if you wanted to. I haven't done that, but I don't know. Maybe there's a situation you might want to do that. Another reason I like Thor in this deck list is because he's a card that you can just play on curve. And what I mean by that is you can just play him on turn 3 without really like any worry, right? So the thing is with a lot of these cards is you want to play them on the last turn of the game. Like Wolfsbane, for example, you don't really want to play Wolfsbane on turn 3 because you don't want to fill up that location until the end of the game. So Wolfsbane usually want to play on the last turn. Brood you can play on turn 3. Silver Surfer you want to play on the last turn of the game. Cosmo kind of depends. You kind of got to read your opponent's deck, but usually I like to save Cosmo a little bit later. I don't really like to play him on turn 3. Sometimes I will, kind of depends. And Killmonger usually want to save for the last turn. So Brood is a proactive play, meaning we're not reacting to what our opponent's doing. We can kind of just throw it down for some points on the board. And Thor kind of serves that same purpose. It's another proactive play that we can just kind of throw on the board. And I'll talk about card replacement in a little bit here as well. And then next up, we have Wong. Kind of already mentioned him a little bit. You can discount him with the Zabu, and we can activate our on-reveal abilities twice. So we can activate Silver Surfer twice, Wolfsbane twice. Yeah, those are really the main ones that we want to be activating multiple times. Absorbing Man to copy some of those on-reveal abilities, kind of mentioned him already. Shang-Chi, of course, to take down those big units. And then we have Sera to discount all of our cards by 1, allowing us to play 3/3-cost cards on the final turn of the game. So let me kind of talk about what cards you can maybe swap with if you would like. Goose, like I said, he is a key card in this deck list. He really makes the Shuri matchup a lot more. Um, I don't want to necessarily say easier, but I guess you could say easier. Makes a Shuri matchup easier, or it makes it a little bit more in your favor, right? It gives you greater odds of winning. So Goose is a very, very good card in this deck list. Zabu, again, another key card to discount all of our 4-cost cards. Honestly, I would really say every card in here is a key card. I would say the two that are probably uh, it's kind of tough. Like I really put a lot of thought into the Silver Surfer deck list. All right, like there's a lot of again, I said this earlier, but there's a lot of different ways you can build Silver Surfer decks. Like you can take a Patriot approach to it because a lot of Patriot cards are 3 cost. You can also do more of a control option with like Storm and Juggernaut and things like that, but I kind of went for more of an on reveal style Silver Surfer deck list to mainly counter the top 2 decks, right? Thanos and Shuri. That's why I run Killmonger for Thanos, and then I run Goose and Shang-Chi for Shuri, and then run Cosmo for Galactus as well, right? But I would say Thor is definitely replaceable in this list. And what can you replace him with? Well, really like any 3-cost card, to be honest with you. I tried out Ironheart before. Ironheart is really good because you can activate Ironheart's ability multiple times with Wong, or you can copy it with Absorbing Man. Rogue is a really good surprise card that not a lot of people see coming. I would say the thing is there's not a lot of good ongoing targets for a Rogue to steal right now in the meta. I mean, maybe you could steal Devil Dinosaur, which is really good value. I like Rogue. You definitely could put her in there as well. But again, like I said, I like Thor because he's just a card you can play on curve. Now, you might be saying, well, isn't the Mjolnir kind of diluting your deck, preventing you from drawing your Sera or your Silver Surfer, which are 2 of your key cards in the deck list? Well, yes and no. I mean, yeah, shuffling another card into your deck kind of does reduce your odds of drawing those cards. But if I have Silver Surfer and Sera in hand, then you're just good to play Thor, right? Like it's fine. It's fine. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Yeah, it's just kind of my opinion. But again, you can swap him out if you would like. Another good option is Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic is going to help maintain priority. It's going to help you contest all 3 locations. He can also put some points into those locations you can't play cards in. So Mr. Fantastic, he definitely could be a better option than Thor in some scenarios. So I like Mr. Fantastic as well. You could also do Polaris. Polaris is just good power for the stats, and I like its on reveal ability, messing with your opponent's cards for a little bit. And then when you have Maximus, of course, I feel like Maximus is kind of overrated in my opinion. Like the thing with Maximus is he's a card you want to play on turn 6. That way your opponent drawing 2 cards doesn't really matter. Now, I've seen some people say, like, well, you can just play him on turn 3 and it doesn't really matter that your opponent draws cards. But I have to disagree with that. Like, I mean, 7 power for 3 energy is really, really strong. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes you're just, if you play him on turn 3, you're just allowing your opponent to draw your win condition. And I don't really like that. I feel like we have enough cards that we want to play on the last turn of the game, like Silver Surfer, Wolfsbane, Killmonger. And you can say, well, why don't you just take out Wolfsbane and put in Maximus instead? Again, I really, really like Wolfsbane in this list. Being able to activate the ability multiple times with Wong and being able to have another target to copy with Absorbing Man. If you take out Wolfsbane and put in Maximus, that's 1 less target for your Absorbing Man to copy. So it makes your Absorbing Man a little worse. So you got to really kind of think of what each card does and how the deck gets worse or better if you take out a certain card. So Yeah, I would say Thor is the most flexible card in his deck list. If you were to take out Thor, I would recommend Mr. Fantastic. I think he's just a really safe card, and yeah, he's a really good card. Helps you contest to multiple locations, help you keep priority, and helps put power into those locations where you cannot put cards. I would say maybe Cosmo is replaceable as well. He's mainly there to counter Galactus decks. But yeah, just a really good tech card overall. Yeah, there's a lot of options you can throw in here at the 3 cost slot. But yeah, I think Thor is the most flexible card in here. Everything else I would say is pretty key to this deck list. Trust me, I've experimented with this deck a lot. I put a lot of hours into this deck list, and yeah, this is solid. This is solid. Every card here has a purpose. Trust me. So let's talk about the matchups a little bit. I did kind of mention Thanos already. If you get leeched, just retreat. If not, you're probably good to go. Shuri, Goose, you want to play him in the armor or the Cosmo lane. That way they can't protect their big units and you can hit him with Shang-Chi. So Shuri definitely could win, could lose. Still kind of depends on the situation, who's revealing first and whatnot, right? Galactus. If you counter Galactus with Cosmo, you're good. If you don't, retreat. What other matchups did I say were bad? Sandman. Sandman is really bad for this deck list because we want to play multiple cards on the last turn, and Sandman prevents us from doing that. So if we get hit with Sandman, we're probably just retreating. So yeah, you got to be really, really smart. When to snap and when to retreat from those games. So when do you snap with this deck? Well, usually I snap when I have Silver Surfer and Sera in hand. Those are really like the two big win conditions of this deck list. You really kind of got to read what kind of deck your opponent is playing, and if you have a good hand, the locations are in your favor, then I would say it's pretty much safe to snap if you have Silver Surfer and Sera in hand. Hopefully, I can get some good gameplay examples for you because I mean every game is different, right? So that is the deck list. I know it was a very, very long explanation. I apologize for that. I just, I get really excited about this deck list because I'm like, yes, I reached infinite with a deck that's not sure you're Thanos. Like, to me, that's a personal accomplishment. And the fact that this deck can actually beat those decks as well, I'm like, man, I'm so happy with this deck. I'm so proud of myself for building this deck. I really put a lot of time into it. So, I get excited and I kind of tend to ramble on a bit, but that's because I really just kind of want to explain my reasoning and my thought process behind why I pick each card in the deck list and, the strategy behind it and all of that. So let's get into some games here. Hopefully I can get some good matches for you guys. All right, so first game up here, we actually got Sakar. It pulled a Goose for me, and I pulled an Arrow for my opponent. Now, I'm going to stay in for now because I actually don't hate that. We got the Raft as the middle location, and Brood is actually very good in the Raft. I think I'm actually going to snap on that because, yeah, Brood into the Raft. We could just play Brood this turn, and we can fill it up with a Wolfsbane next turn. This is actually one of the rare kind of scenarios where you actually play Wolfsbane a little bit earlier than the last turn, so we can go ahead and do that. I do like Absorbing Man, but Clintar kind of messes that up anyway, so yeah, we'll just do Wolfsbane in the middle. That'll buff up this lane, and we get a free card. We get the Helicarrier, which is nice. And something to note about the Helicarrier is technically it's 0 cost, so we can play it in the Goose location. And it is a Lockjaw coming out of Jubilee. That kind of sucks for him. So we can do Sera. Well, yeah, really, we can only play Sera and Clintar, right, because of Goose. So we play Sera into Clintar, and we have Thor. So it's a Thor Lockjaw deck. And let's see what comes out here. Bane. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at that. This guy is talented. So this guy is revealing first. We're revealing second here. What we can do is... Actually, what I think I want to do is I'm going to play Helicarrier on the left lane. And he is, I mean, we knew that he drew the Mjolnir with Jane Foster, right? So this Thor is 100% getting buffed. So we can snipe him with Shang-Chi. I don't think they predict the Shang-Chi in this deck list. You know, people say, oh, Brood, Wolfsbane. He's running a Silver Surfer deck. I don't think they really expect the Shang-Chi. So we can play the Shang-Chi. And then we go ahead and I think we just drop the Surfer as well. We can drop it. I think the right location will be fine. And we already snapped. So let's go ahead and let's see here. Yep, there comes the Mjolnir. There comes the Mjolnir. Now, hopefully we don't get screwed by, like, Infinite or something. Okay, Sunspot. Magneto. That's actually fine because our Shang-Chi is going to hit both of those. I don't know why this guy would stay in. We're going to win all 3 locations. Lockjaw, Thor, ain't got shit on us, baby. We didn't even need the Helicarrier. Let's say we didn't even get Helicarrier from the raft. We still win. But I guess he did get kind of bad pulls from Jubilee and the Lockjaw as well. So, yeah, I mean, we're taking that dub. All right, so we are going up against a Thanos deck. Now we have... Oh, man, our opponent is snapping on turn 2. This guy's snapping on turn 2. What the hell? I haven't even played anything yet. We got a pretty good hand. Now, again, as long as we don't get hit with Leech, we are in a pretty good position. So we get Camp Lehigh. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. Actually, getting a 3-cost card is... This location is actually really good for Silver Surfer because you just get another 3-cost card in your hand. And Rhino... Maybe I actually use Rhino on the X-Mansion because I feel like X-Mansion can kind of screw us over sometimes. He might Reality Stone it, but... Yeah, I'm going to X-Mansion. Oh, Gambit? He just discarded his Kang to kill my, my Goose. Was it worth it? Was that worth it? I don't know if that was worth it, man. I do not know if that was worth it. Now, I might actually drop... Do I want to drop Zabu here? I think I'm going to do Brood. Let's do Brood. Camp Lehigh. We could play it into the Danger Room, but yeah, he's just going to Reality Stone. Oh, District X. That sucks. That sucks. Well, it might be good for me, though. It might be good for me. I don't know. I don't know about him. Now we could do Zabu plus Thor. That might be good. Honestly, that might be the play here, actually. Because I was going to say we could do Absorbing Man to copy the Brood, but I actually think I want to take advantage of all 5 energy here. So we'll play Brood in the left. We'll play Thor in the middle. That way we have a 3-cost on the left, 3 costs in the middle, 3 costs on the right. And... Cloak from the District X and a Captain Marvel. Wait, what? How can he play all these cards? Oh, because Time Stone and Quinjet. He played Cloak, Mantis, and Captain Marvel in the same turn. Jeez, what the hell? Okay. Okay, well, this is a bit of a unconventional matchup, but I think we can still win this one. I think we can. So what I'm going to do... So I think we go Wong, Surfer, right? We gotta go Wong, Surfer. So let's do... Or you could do Surfer, Absorbing Man. Actually, I think Surfer, Absorbing Man is better because Absorbing Man is 1 more point than Wong. And Absorbing Man will also buff Silver Surfer. So what I think we actually do is we do Surfer here. Absorbing Man here, right. I think that's the play, and I'm not gonna move my cards. I'm not gonna move them. But I think we might actually be able to win this. Let's see. Arrow. I think that's actually fine. I think we actually don't really care for that really. Absorbing Man coming in clutch.
Higher, further, faster.
And Captain Marvel's gonna move, but it just doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter, baby. So we did beat a Thanos deck here. Now, to be honest, District X did help us out a little bit there. But, yeah. Again, I mean, as long as you don't get leashed, it's definitely a winnable matchup. Sometimes Reality Stone can screw over your opponent. So, hey, man, I mean, we take those dubs where we can, you know what I'm saying? And we got another Thanos deck. Seems like everyone is just playing Thanos. So we got Tinker's Workshop here, but unfortunately, we don't want to play either of these. Would have been really nice to have Brood or Thor or maybe even Cosmo here. Yeah, unfortunately, nothing to play there. So let's hope we get a good draw. We get Goose. I'm okay with Goose. We can do let's do Goose and Fisk Tower just in case he has an arrow. We don't get screwed over by arrow. I think that'll be fine. Our opponent's gonna snap. I'm gonna stay in because it's still early, right? We don't really know what type of Thanos deck he's running. We just know he's running some sort of Thanos deck. Okay, so there's a She-Hulk. We do have the Shang-Chi to take that down later in the game. I think here we can just go ahead and play Wong. Now, where do I want to play Wong is the question. Well, Avengers Compound, we have to play Sera there. Wong, we could play him. Let's play him in the Tinker's Workshop. I think that'll be okay. There's the Vision and Reality Stone. Okay. Oh, Luke's that actually kind of sucks for us. That actually kind of sucks for us. Unless we draw Brood, Brood will get kicked back to our hand, but the Broodlings will stay in Luke's bar. So that actually kind of sucks for us. That kind of sucks. Yeah. Okay, so we got Thor. We kind of just got unfortunate draws this game, man. These draws were not very good, to be honest with you guys. Honestly, I think our best bet is if we place Thor into Fisk Tower. We do Wolfsbane Surfer. Yeah, we got to make sure we play Silver Surfer last. And I mean, Wolfsbane can absolutely just carry this location. The thing I'm worried about is winning the left location, but let's see if it's enough points. I'm not gonna snap back because I'm not 100% certain here. And he's gonna play Devil Dino in the middle, so we can win the left. But how big is Wolfsbane gonna get here? Wolfsbane goes to 13. We get the +2 twice from Silver Surfer. So unfortunately, we did not win this one. If we played Shang-Chi and yeah, something else here, maybe we would have won that one. But the problem is that Shang-Chi would have won the middle location. However, Thor, without getting the buff from Surfer, would not have won this location. So kind of unfortunate draws in that matchup, I feel like. And the Luke's bar kind of screwed us up as well. Oh boy, guess what? We're playing against another Thanos deck. Wow, man, big surprise. More Thanos. Oh, wow, he played into the Super Flow. That's actually pretty funny. Okay, we take that, I'm going to go ahead and play Thor then. I think playing Thor on turn 2 is actually pretty nice. Brood takes up a lot of space here. Again, Killmonger want to save for the end. Surfer want to save for the end. Goose probably play next turn maybe on the right location. Oh man, this guy is just... This guy's not having a good day. Power Stone into Super Flow, Space Stone into Murder World. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because he could actually move the Space Stone. So let's play Goose on the left location. And I think next turn we will probably play Brood into the Murder World. Okay, so he actually didn't move his stone out of the Murder World. played Reality Stone in the middle, and it gave him the Volt. I'm gonna go ahead and play Brood here. Now the thing is, snapping against Thanos is very, very dangerous. I rarely snap against Thanos decks. He did play this Time Stone, so he's gonna have 5 energy this turn. So he potentially could leech us. If that is the case, then we get the hell out of here. If that is not the case, then we go one more turn and see what he does. So there's a Sunspot, there's a Quinjet, no leech, so we're still safe for now. Broodlings can hold down the Volt on their own. Now here, I think I actually like Absorbing Man. I like Absorbing Man here to copy Brood. However, we did not draw Sera or Zabu to discount our cards. So I think actually I'm going to play Wong. I think I'm going to play Wong instead. That way, next turn, we can do Killmonger and Surfer on the Wong location. Again, he might have Leech, so I'm not going to snap here. Let's see what he has. And it's a She-Hulk, okay. That is going to be a lot of points. And unfortunately, She-Hulk with her discount ability can bypass our Goose, which is kind of annoying. Now that Sunspot, 6 points though, that's going to get destroyed by our Killmonger. So we play the Killmonger and we play the Surfer, and this is looking like a dub. This is looking like a dub. I'm not gonna snap because he might just run away. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. So here comes the Killmonger. Just gonna delete his entire board essentially, and we're gonna win the middle. We're gonna tie the left. He may have like a Magneto here. That's just a Devil Dino, and he's gonna tie on the right. So we actually just destroyed this Thanos deck. Absolutely destroyed. And we even draw Sera. We didn't even draw Sera. So again, as long as you don't get hit with Leech, it's not that scary. All right, another game up here. Oh, Reality Stone off the bat gives us a Danger Room. Okay. Oh, the Big House. The Big House is essentially Goose, but in a location version. So this actually might be good for us, really limiting where he can play his big cards. He's going to be forced to play his big cards in the Danger Room. So we have the Big House in the middle, and I'm going to play my Goose on the right. So I actually really like that. And Soulstone comes down. Let's see what this location is. Baxter Building. So that might be kind of important for us. Now, I don't always like to play Cosmo on curve, but I think I'm actually going to play Cosmo in the Big House. That way we can play our Wong. I'm just going to go ahead and play Cosmo onto the Big House for now. And it blocks the Lockjaw lane, which is actually insanely good for us. This is actually one of those rare occasions where I'm going to snap, because that is huge for us. I think here, unfortunately, we didn't get Zabu, so we can't discount the Wong. Like, we could play Wong into Danger Room, but that's very, very risky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Thor onto the Baxter Building here. And yeah, Cosmo blocking that Lockjaw lane is insanely strong. So let's see. Space Stone, Time Stone come down. We have the Killmonger, which is nice. Man, do I want to play Killmonger now, actually? Or do I want to risk the Wong in the Danger Room? That is pretty risky, if I do say so myself. Unfortunately, we didn't draw Sera or Zabu, and those cards are pretty key in this deck, which allows us to play more cards on the final turn. I think it's too risky to play Wong in the Danger Room, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to play Wolfsbane. Even though Wolfsbane doesn't get the full value here, it's still going to get +5, which is good. Oh, he's going to play Magneto. And he doesn't get killed by the danger room. Wow. Wow, he does not get killed by the danger room. Okay. So what we are going to do then is we are going to Killmonger and Silver Surfer here. And I think that's the play here. Here comes a Power Stone, a Mind Stone into the Lockjaw, however. Keep in mind, She-Hulk, that is a lot of points. However, since we win the Baxter building and we buff up all of our 3-cost cards in the danger room, we are going to take the dub there. Cosmo blocking the Lockjaw location was absolutely huge. So that is the deck list and the gameplay. I hope you enjoyed the games. I got a lot of Thanos matchups for you guys. I'm sorry I actually couldn't get any Shuri matchups for you guys. It's insane. I was queuing into a lot of Shuri the past few days, and then I just all of a sudden stopped getting Shuri and started getting more Thanos. But like I said before, this deck definitely can beat Shuri. It still can be a little bit tough. If you don't draw your Goose or your Shang-Chi, you're probably going to lose. You're really reliant on those 2 cards in the Shuri matchup. But if you draw both of those cards, or at least one of those cards, you have a fighting chance. So, yeah. Sorry I couldn't get any Shuri gameplay for you guys, but I got a lot of Thanos gameplay for you guys. Seems everyone's playing Thanos these days, but I digress. Hope you guys enjoy the deck. Please try it out. Give it a shot for yourself. If I can hit infinite rank with this deck, then I believe you can too. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate you guys. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. It would really help me out. I would really appreciate it. And if you stayed all the way to the end of this video, the key word for this video is going to be hammer. Keyword is hammer. So if you stayed to the end of the video, type in hammer in the comments. I know you stayed to the end and that you're a real one, and I thank you for that. So once again, thank you for watching. Appreciate you all. See you in the next one. Later.